Just in the last few hours, the U.S. says it launched an attack on Iran, joining a conflict that started a week ago between Iran and Israel. Thanks for joining us at 10 o'clock. I'm Holden Kerwicki in for Robert Townsend. President Donald Trump says U.S. forces dropped bombs on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. The president has been deciding on whether to get involved in the conflict between Iran and Israel for days now. It comes after Israel launched a wave of attacks on Iran nuclear facilities last week. Iran then responded with its own attacks on Israel. President Trump just addressed the nation in the last hour.
This cannot continue. There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill.
Iran has already promised to retaliate if the U.S. attacks. The Secretary of Defense is expected to have a press conference in the morning to talk about the airstrikes. Tonight, we're learning more about the B-2 bombers involved in the attack on Iran. Missouri's Attorney General Andrew Bailey posted on X tonight saying they came from a base in Missouri. They flew out of Whiteman Air Force Base a little over an hour southeast of Kansas City. Just days ago, the base increased security measures as a precaution. Some local politicians are reacting to the news tonight. Missouri Congresswoman Ann Wagner agreed with the decision to attack Iran, saying, quote, "I'd like to thank our Missouri-based B-2 pilots." Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt also sided with the president, saying, quote, "He doesn't want another forever war. He wants peace. What happens now is up to Iran." We'll continue following this story on air and online at KSDK.com. You can also get breaking alerts on the 5 on Your Side app. Tonight, we're under an extreme heat warning and heat advisory. The dangerous temperatures will last for several more days, with the heat index all the way up in the triple digits. We are continuing to experience that heat wave, which is the first this year. Scott, how long is it going to last?
Well, you know, those temperatures are going to stay above 90 degrees during the afternoon hours for several more days. So at least through Tuesday, possibly through much of the end of the week. This is why 98 is our forecast high for tomorrow, 96 on Monday, still in the mid-90s Tuesday and Wednesday, perhaps Thursday too. Right now, the extreme heat warning in effect for the metro counties goes through Tuesday evening. Heat advisory elsewhere also through Tuesday evening. There may be a little bit of a break with some isolated storms Tuesday evening, but it's also possible that this gets extended into Wednesday, perhaps even into Thursday. We are still in the mid to upper 80s right now. It still feels like it's above 90 in St. Louis. So at least through Tuesday evening, those afternoon heat index values running 98 to 105 degrees. The biggest thing you can do is drink water, stay hydrated, stay in air conditioning, use that air conditioner. If you're a senior and you're worried about that bill, we'll worry about that later. Make sure you're keeping your house to where it is at least keeping you comfortable, and check on your neighbors. Make sure that they are staying safe, but drink a lot of water. Don't overexert yourself. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk about some other tips as we head through the next few days.
We did get close to triple digits today in the St. Louis area, and medical experts say it's potentially deadly and dangerous for people outdoors. Tonight or any crawl, here's their advice as Cardinal fans flock to downtown.
Heat exhaustion is when your body overheats and can't cool itself off properly, a condition Dr. Amanda Wood, Associate Medical Director for the Emergency Department at Mercy South, says can be caused by excessive sweating or dehydration.
So anytime that the temperatures go up, we are very aware that we're going to get people that could be suffering from heat exhaustion or heat stroke.
Emphasizing the heat illness symptoms to watch out for.
And then if people become altered mental status, passing out, warm, hot, dry skin, fast heart rate, start being really concerned about heat stroke and send them into the emergency room.
Yet fans were braving the heat at Saturday's Cardinals game.
Hot. Actually, for us, it's normal. It's just pretty nice. I mean, just come to the ballpark.
Sunny in the sky and sunny gray on the mound, along with 7 125-gallon water monster coolers around the ballpark, providing free water to more than 27,000 attendees, only 3,000 less fans than the season's average.
The Cardinals telling us that when you have temperatures this high and a game on the schedule, they have an extra medical crew at Busch Stadium to try and help with any heat-related cases that may arise.
This is the norm, yes. The humidity, the heat, yes.
Fans saying they were prepared for being in 96 degrees.
Wear loose clothing, drink a lot of water, and try to stay in the shade as much as possible.
Stay hydrated is a big thing. And then if you start getting hot, just go up in the shade.
Advice echoed by SSM Health sports medicine physician Dr. Jamil Nimi.
If you are feeling thirsty, then you probably are already at a point where you need to play catch up. So if you're doing anything athletic and you're already in humidity and you're sweating more, your tank is low.
Doctors recommending to stay in air-conditioned spaces since fans aren't as effective once it gets past 90. Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
We have a list of resources to escape the heat, including a list of cooling centers around St. Louis. For that information, just text the word HEAT to 314-425-5355. A teen is dead after drowning in the Merrimack River. It happened last night at the Blue Springs Conservation Area in Bourbon. A 17-year-old was swimming when he got tired and was pulled underwater by the current. We've learned that boy was from Sullivan. His name is yet to be released. Tonight, 2 suspects are in the hospital after police pursuit in a crash in North St. Louis County. Police say officers saw a vehicle wanted for a shooting and home invasion on Lorna Lane near Ferguson. Officers tried to pull that car over, but it sped off. Police were pursuing the car when it crashed on North Broadway in the city. 2 people in the car were hurt. 1 is currently in critical condition. No officers were hurt. We've reached out to police to find out more about the shooting and home invasion that occurred before the chase. They couldn't give us any more details just yet. Several dogs are dead after a vehicle fire in Madison County. Illinois State Police say they got a call for a van on fire on I-270 last night near State Route 159. Troopers say the van was carrying rescue dogs in kennels. The driver was able to save 4 of them, but 7 dogs died. The driver was not hurt. No word on what caused that fire. Tonight, there was a fundraiser for an Uber driver who was shot in Columbia, Illinois. Alan Locke is recovering after he was shot earlier this month. 2 passengers held him at gunpoint. Locke drove them to the Columbia Police Department where they then shot him. A 20 and 17-year-old are now facing charges. Tonight's fundraiser for Locke was at Bar Down Sports Bar. Locke is also a hockey coach, and the community has been rallying around him during his recovery.
St. Louis is a big hockey town, right? We have the St. Louis Blues. There's 15 to 16 different clubs in St. Louis. And unfortunately, when things happen like this, we all have to, rally around it, and we form this community that we have, and, it's one of the best hockey communities that I've been a part of.
You can find a link to donate to Locke's GoFundMe on KSDK.com. Just look under the As Seen on TV section. Tonight, we're hearing from local and union leaders about Nippon Steel's deal to buy U.S. Steel. The $14 billion deal was finalized this week. Today, Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski made a stop at the facility in Granite City. She says workers should get a say in what's next.
We saw workers closed out of the conversation. We saw a failure to include critical employee safety and regional investment. We saw a deal that ignored the workers who make this industry run.
Don't forget about us hardworking steel workers here in Granite City, Illinois, because we stand ready to make product right now.
Leaders also want all collective bargaining agreements to be protected and $500 million invested into upgrading the Granite City facility.
Cleaning up the North St. Louis community. The young volunteers inspiring others to help after the May 16th tornado. Extreme heat and red tape. The hurdles some seniors are facing when it comes to the new property tax freeze.
The heat is sticking around into the upcoming week. An easy way to know if you're getting enough water and when there might be a bit of a break in the heat and humidity combo.
Today, seniors waited in line for hours in the extreme heat to apply for the senior property tax freeze program, with the deadline just over a week away. Today, many of seniors told our Mercedes McKay that frustrations with applying go well beyond waiting in the 90-degree heat.
Bonnie Corti and her 97-year-old mother, Irma, got to the South County Government Center at 7:15 Saturday morning, hoping to get their senior property tax freeze application turned in. And at 11:30, nothing had really changed.
Everyone's just been standing and waiting. People have been moving in their walkers, moving their lawn chairs from spot to spot.
Right next to them, Eric Goldman had the exact same story.
I thought I'd come early so I could beat the rush, and there were probably 300 people already here.
These pictures from a 5 on Your Side viewer showing the line wrapped around the building. Seniors waiting outside in nearly 90-degree weather. as the fire department responded to heat-related injuries, bringing fans and water to help with the dangerous temperatures.
Eventually, they opened up the court doors for people, but for the elderly, people with medical issues, it was not safe for them.
When I reached out to St. Louis County about seniors having to wait in the heat in line, they told me they encourage seniors to apply online and that the online application has been open since this program opened up 9 months ago. But many seniors waiting in line behind me told me the online process isn't that easy.
It went okay until I had to upload personal documents like the deed of the home.
In response to seniors having issues with the online application, the county told 5 on Your Side most have successfully applied online and that the weekend hours are available so seniors can get the help they need. Mercedes McKay, 5 on Your Side.
The county is hosting special Saturday hours again next week at the North County Government Center from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. Teens are rolling up their sleeves to help others in need. How they're leading the charge in tornado recovery.
Look across the area right now. Our coolest temperature that we can find down in Salem, Missouri, where it's still 79. Ooh. This heat continues. We're back with more on our Weather Impact Alert in just a few minutes.
Tonight, the St. Louis community is stepping up to help the survivors of the May 16th tornado. Robert Townsend hears from the teens who were inspired to lend a hand.
17-year-old twins Lauren and Lawrence Woods are on the front line for something dear to their hearts. Cleaning up this tornado-torn area in North St. Louis.
What I like about it is how we get to help the community. We get to learn skills, how to be responsible, how to help each other.
It makes me feel happy because I'm helping out people that lost everything.
The May 16th EF3 tornado destroyed thousands of homes, businesses, and vacant buildings, especially in North City.
Houses getting ripped, destroyed all around you. I feel sad for those that had to go through that tragic situation.
What the people gonna do now? That's why we gotta come together and help.
The twins teamed up with about a dozen other teams from the Urban League's Federation of Block Units program to trim trees, remove debris, and spruce up the neighborhood after the storm.
The tornado really wrecked a lot of people's lives, and it just made me really sad.
Cardinal Ritter College Prep sophomore Tristan Catron is also right there with her mom, helping out at the Urban League's drive-through donation site. Volunteers collect, organize, and pass out food, toiletries, and other much-needed supplies to tornado survivors.
I just like being able to help anybody that's in need.
Oh, I'm so proud. They understand all walks of life. They understand that things, like I said, can happen to anybody. And I want to make sure that they are grateful for what they have.
You can look around these tornado-ravaged neighborhoods and see right now there's still so much work that needs to be done. Teenagers I talked to hope more young people will get inspired and come out and help.
I feel like it builds character.
We're going to keep coming together and help each other, and we're just going to keep pushing forward as a team.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
If your teen would like to volunteer with the Urban League's tornado relief efforts, just call the organization at 314-391-5688. We're teaming up with the Urban League to help people impacted by the May 16th tornado. There's an Amazon wish list of items survivors need, like toiletries, clothing, household goods, and pantry items. You can get them delivered straight to the Urban League for distribution. For that info, just text the word Amazon to 314-425-5355. Our weather impact alert continues for this dangerous heat. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us with the forecast. And Scott, has it cooled down any outside at all?
You know, the outlying areas are even still close to 80 degrees right now. And I think just like this morning when we started out in the 70s to around 80, it's more of the same for the next couple of mornings. That's part of the problem. We never really cool off at night. Plus, you have the dangerous heat indices during the afternoon at or above 100 degrees. There might be a little bit of relief as we head towards Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but that's still going to be subtle all of those days are going to be quite warm. We are still in St. Louis after topping out at 96, only down to 88 degrees right now. It still feels like it's in the 90s. Here's your heat indices tomorrow afternoon, running again around 105 to 107 or so in St. Louis. More of the same going into Monday, going into Tuesday. Wednesday, it does start to ease just a little bit, but it is still hot as we continue into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So this high heat and humidity, it's the first heat wave of the year that we've had to deal with. You're going to look at those high heat indices. Best thing you can do, drink plenty of water, limit physical activity, use the air conditioner if you have it. If you don't, try to find somewhere where it is cooler, and then spend some time in that AC, especially during the heat of the day, staying out of the sun. And remember your kids and your pets. Pets need shade. They'd like the air conditioning too. And, drink plenty of water. How do you know if you're getting enough? Well, you check your urine. The color of your urine is a key indicator. The more yellow that's in there, the more dehydrated you become. Once it becomes more orange towards brown, you are severely dehydrated. You need to drink water immediately. So if your urine is pretty much colorless or very light straw colored, you're in good shape. You're hydrating well. It's a key to success for heat people. All right, there it is. The heat's going to be with us for the next several days. It does ease towards the end of the week. The reason it eases towards the end of the week is here's your big upper level ridge across the region. It finally peaks as we head towards Monday, and by Wednesday and Thursday, it's settling back into the southeast, and that ought to allow us to at least get a little break, albeit a subtle break, a little break in this heat and humidity. 96 today, 80 was the low. Still feels like 95 right now in St. Louis. We're only around 80 overnight tonight for the low temperature in St. Louis. Outlying areas staying in the 70s. Tomorrow, you're a hearty soul and a true fan if you're going to the ball game. Heat index values tomorrow, again, in the triple digits over at Busch Stadium. Your beverage of choice should be water. Probably won't be, but at least get some in there. There's the numbers for the next 7 days. None of those look especially exciting to me, but 92 is looking better than it has in a while, don't you think?
It's kind of crazy when 92 is going to feel cool for us.
Yeah, it's going to be better.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Now here's Corey with a look at what's happening in the world of sports.
Well, Holden, the Cardinals had plenty of peaks and valleys today at Busch, but all that mattered was ending on a high note. Speaking of notes, we may be in store for an update to the literal blue note. I'll explain next in sports. While some folks in St. Louis may be looking ahead to Monday when a certain team from Chicago comes to town, the Cardinals certainly aren't. They entered today riding a 4-game win streak. They ended the day with a 5-game win streak in one of the signature victories of the season. If you sat in the heat to watch this game, no one is ever allowed to question your fandom again. It was so hot, Red shortstop Ellie De La Cruz vomited on the field behind second base. Cards got on the board first. Alec Burleson is hotter than Scott Connell's forecast. That's a 2-run shot for the lead. Sonny Gray was on the hill today. 1 run in 5 innings and some dazzling defense behind him. Brandon Donovan, great play to end the 5th inning. The Reds would tie it 2-2, and then in the 7th, De La Cruz may be hitting under 200 against lefties, but he takes Steven Matz deep for a 2-run shot. Reds up 4-2. 5-4 Reds in the 9th until Nolan Arenado comes up clutch with a game-tying homer to send us to extra innings, tied at 5. The Cards had a chance to win in the 10th, bases loaded, nobody out, but they just can't get the run across to end the game. You know what? It's all going to be okay, though, because Joel Pozo calls game in the 11th. A hit to right sends Jordan Walker diving into home with the winning run. Cardinals win 6-5 for their 5th straight win on the first career walk-off for Pozo. It was another gritty win from a Cardinals team that has proven they just simply will not give up.
You have bases loaded, no outs. Think about how frustrated that dugout is when we can't come across the plate there. But you go back out, you go play defense, and then you come in, you find a way to win. They've done a nice job of that, and to have that skill of being able to refocus and with a young group, that's saying something.
It's hot. We could have just laid down and given up, and that's not what happened. And that's a huge game to win. You look back and you remember games like that.
How about some more baseball? The Cubs are leading the Central. They'll be here on Monday. Took on Seattle today at Wrigley. Ian Happ kills the Cardinals today. He killed the Mariners. 2 homers for Happ against Seattle. Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh is on some kind of tear. That's his 30th home run of the season. Most by a switch hitter and the most by a catcher in the first half of a season ever. Cubs get the win though, 10-7. College World Series Finals, LSU and Coastal Carolina. The man on the mound for the Tigers was a story tonight. Cade Anderson, a complete game, 3-hit shutout for LSU to take game 1. Anderson threw 130 pitches and tallied 10 strikeouts in the performance as the Tigers won 1-0. Third round of the Travelers Championship, and I do just love it when the pros look like us. And this is the best in the world, Scotty Scheffler. Golf's hard, folks. Hasn't looked hard for Tommy Fleetwood so far. He is your leader at 16 under heading into tomorrow's final round. Fleetwood shot a 63 today and leads Russell Henley by 3 strokes. Hey Blues fans, heads up, the team is teasing a big announcement on Tuesday. They released this video taking down the logo on the ceiling of the team's locker room. There may or may not be some rumors online that an updated Blue Note logo could be on the horizon. Stay tuned. And also, tune in to Sports Plus Sunday night. Frank talks with Brady Cook about trying to make it in the NFL. Kelly Chase continues his comeback trail. And Chris Pronger plays Superman for a day. That is Sunday night at 10:30. Right here on 5 on Your Side. That'll do for sports, Holden.
All right, thank you, Corey. All right, Scott, before we get out of here, I want to try and mow tomorrow. Is it going to be too hot?
Well, yeah, I would say so. I mean, for push mowing on the rider, it's fine. You know, if you're
get that air in your face.
Yeah, that's right. You got a little breeze. There will be a breeze again tomorrow, but it's really hard to do outdoor activity, and that includes mowing, digging, working in the yard. You know, you got to stay hydrated. That's the #1 key. You can do it if you pace yourself, but go easy. Holden, you're much younger than I am, so you probably could get away with it.
Only a couple days younger.
Yeah, and those of us that are a little older, we really have to pace ourselves.
I've already got the water on ice in the garage. Thank you
go.
very much. And that's all of our time for 5 on Your Side at 10. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 6 a.m. Have a great tomorrow, St. Louis.